So to pretty much this player biography was one that took me a while to complete and basically figure it out, because when I tried going ahead and looking at the season 1 stats, the person I'm going to be talking about in today's video, their stats weren't punched in there or they went by a different name. Either way, I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys. So what's going on, guys? It's your boy Brown. It's your boy here, Brown Man. You already know. And I do apologize for not uploading in over a week. It's just there hasn't been much to really report about. To say I can tell you guys is that I'll be doing a playoff recap in the next video for the AFL season 9. Kind of recapping the year. You feel me? Either way, now that we're going ahead and we're getting in and getting to this one, let's go ahead, start this in. Alright, let's go. Alright, what's going on, guys? I didn't really do much of an intro this video because the person I'm talking about, I'm not sure how you explain this person in real life, but I can tell you, like, in a way, she is probably this person I'm going to talk about today. Basically, she served more of a backup role until more recently. And now that she's an experienced veteran, I can really go ahead and tell her this though. Hopefully she isn't gonna be mad at me or anything, because I went ahead and I accidentally kind of did a double pink for them. And honest with you, it's gonna be a punching guys. So honestly, I don't want anyone to be mad at me or anything. Either way, so my original plan was to go ahead and basically, I was trying to go ahead and trying to do a pretty much a career recap on Calvin 5, but Calvin's been a tough to catch guy, as I'm not sure what's his Discord or anything. Like, honestly, OFL should just go ahead and they should have his Discord, but like, I can't, but for some reason, the man has been smart, and I haven't been able to go ahead and find it. Either way, so the person I went ahead and went with instead is actually someone that has gone ahead and has basically, they've been up there for their careers. Is that when I try looking at their stats, they really not kind of went ahead and served a bit of a backup role in their first in their first few seasons. And well, she's still in the league. It's just, like I said, she's basically has been that tough to go ahead and figure out and actually catch up to, because she's basically it. This person I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you that this person, she's gone ahead and she has, without a doubt, dominated the league in one way. In fact, she's probably, even though Val and Skylar are basically at the college level, I know you guys are gonna go ahead and chew me out in the comments, but this person here, well, she's gone ahead and she has pretty much been the unchallenged queen. I mean, yes, I can say that. I mean, guess I can say that Brittany at one point was pretty much really good, as well as I'm also gonna go ahead and show some respect out there too to Trin. this this person I'm going to be talking about today, well, she pretty much gets, she doesn't really get talked about much, and I really want to go ahead and make this video specifically talking about her. So, and that person I'm going to be talking is Mallory Rose. And Mallory, I can tell you, the reason why I went and I'm choosing her for this one, because I've looked, and so far, no one really doesn't go ahead and done much. To go ahead and be like, oh, recognize her and just be like, oh, yo, we should just go ahead and actually do a, player profile on her or anything. Like, not even my buddy Azza has done anything about it. And for me, if you ask me, that's kind of tough. Either way. So, the first thing I can go ahead and get started up here. Let's go ahead and just get started up. As we went ahead, and I went out to Season 1, and to be honest with you, I couldn't find her on the Season 1 stat sheet. But, I did get a little bit of some help. As believe it or not, she went ahead, and she participated in Super Bowl 1 in AFL. And we all know how that game kind of went ahead and went. It was basically Calvin 5. He had pretty much people. And the Vikings were also one of those teams. I can tell you that one of the blocking methods, basically, it was kind of tough, I can tell you that. But in the end, I can officially go ahead and confirm. These guys basically has gone ahead and put a lot on it. So, she ended up in her first season in AFL. She's been around since Season 1. She's basically dominated since Season 1. And she was basically one of the players on a team that had Calvin 5. Yes, Calvin 5, the guy that was originally going ahead and I planned to do a video on. Well, this man here, well, for Calvin, I can tell you this, is that he and his team really had it going for them. In fact, her and Calvin and a few other guys that we do know today. And in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and just repeat. We're talking. There was Tonto, Grim, YTJY, Rocky CA, Gersalt, Height. You get on me. Those guys there, yeah, they were basically on the Super Bowl team. And of course, they took on Adge Defuse, Jay Fish, and that 40 B Tyler, and that Vikings team. And well, the Vikings went ahead. I can tell you, they got off to a good start in that Super Bowl. It was basically a back and forth Super Bowl, but in the end, Calvin and Mal went ahead and both got their first rings. With them going ahead and winning on the final play of the game, which was a different type as they were near the goal line. But not only did it tie the game, it was a game-winning touchdown right here.
Yes, Jacob threw on the play, 7 seconds left. Mike takes the ball. Jaguar takes the ball. Nice play. He comes it off short, and it's a score.
Touchdown! Touchdown Jaguars with 1 second, 2 seconds to spare right there.
Well, the Jaguars would have won ahead and converting a 2-point with Calvin 5 not doing much. He went ahead and threw an absolute dot, getting a 2-point in, and well, there was a lot of G. They spammed G a lot, and well, by the time the Vikings could go ahead, get this one done, Tyler couldn't return a kickoff all the way. And that turned out to be the heartbreaker. As well, with that basically just, it was a shocking defeat. Next season is season 2. Basically, everyone's expecting her. Not much you can go ahead and really say. And then, but I was able to go ahead and find her on this stat sheet. But the first thing I started off was basically looking at the wide receiver list. She was on there with 8 catches for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that game, well, it was kind of different, and I don't know what team she was on at that time because, like I said, I wasn't in AFL doing a lot of this stuff. This is basically as things went ahead and things just turned out differently. You already know how it can be, blah, blah, blah. I did look, and she didn't make the playoffs that year, which kinda, and that was pretty much a stinker. And, well, yeah. I checked to see if she had any defensive back stats, or as the league likes to call it, pass coverage. She actually went ahead and recorded 2 interceptions with 0 pick sixes. Now, on to season 3. I did find her once again. She was on a Steelers squad. As she had 11 catches for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know, as defensive back, well, she only had 1 interception, with that one not going back for that pick 6. But I'm not really surprised for that one. But also, then again, that was also the same year that Def ATL came to the league, as both she and Def, like, and a lot of people from AFL, they came from OFL, and we already know how OFL people like to be. And OFL players, they are probably one of the more talented guys, because they're basically, they're a lot more. They can adapt more. They can basically go ahead and look about things. And I actually went ahead and for Mal, she actually in OFL has won a Victory Bowl. And like I said, season 2, basically we saw the Steelers go and pretty much get a big W. And well, yeah. Basically, I'm not really go ahead and explain it. But I can tell you this though, is that basically there was like basically there were a few plays that, well, it was kind of a bit of a porcoroso. It was basically one play that I'm gonna show you. Like basically, I found a play like basically they saw Def ATL go ahead and scramble for his life. With players showing them, people got left wide open, and yeah, ended up going ahead and having an easy play touchdown. And that, well, that at least shocked a lot of people. And I can tell you this. Basically having that dagger in there, that probably hurt them. And I tried going ahead and looking for anything else. And well, things went ahead and turned out. Things were pretty much a lot bigger, easier than expected. Either way, there was nothing much I can really say there. Basically, that was one of the more interesting seasons. They went ahead and they went through Kodak. As like I said, the Steelers went ahead and went through Kodak, Kyetra, and Reese as their quarterbacks. Honestly, it was really big, and I can just tell you something. The Steelers went ahead and barely made the playoffs at 5-4-1, and becoming the 9th seed, the 9th best team in the league. Oh, that was weird. But I can tell you that basically, though, even though that Steelers team was pretty good at 5-4-1, they did make the playoffs, and they made the wild card round, and they ended up losing in the division round. So like I said, in the wild card round, they beat the Browns 44-34, but they get destroyed by the Texans. Here's the final score of 52-12. Like literally, when you just look at this, you actually start to go ahead and question who was really at fault here. And well, I personally think basically the Steelers got messed up there. Anyway, season 4 of the AFL was basically it was a big one. But I can tell you, she was on the stat sheet again. This time with 11 catches for 247 yards, which was then a career high up to that point. But it's held to a career low. Here's the thing. 0 touchdowns. This is basically, she was on the Texans that year, and of course that team they had Math, they had Tyler, they had Zoms. They basically were stacked, and she even had 2 interceptions. What went wrong? That's something I was looking at. And well, I can't even figure it. To this day, not even I can figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, then, like, literally, what in the world are you doing? Like, I just looked. That Texas matchup. I looked, and well, that season turned out to be very controversial. And well, I can tell you, now I looked at how that happened, and the Texans made the playoffs at 9-2. Which, by the way, that was basically pretty impressive. Well, it was more 8-2, but still, they went ahead and made a decent playoff push. And well, that playoff run, well, even though the Texans were a highly favored team when they into the playoffs, I looked, in a season 4 matchup, I ended up going ahead and seeing one, and that was basically Texans taking on the Jets. That game turned out to be different. And I went ahead and looked. Sadly, and was a slap in the face for the Texans was that they went ahead and they didn't have Mallory available. And without Mallory, well, I looked, and the final score of that game, well, at first, I thought I was going to have an easy quiz, but then again, ads went ahead and kind of ruined my experience. So basically, story gets more interesting as basically Mallory comes and she now shows up and now what's the biggest stage of her career, and that is the Super Bowl. The Jaguars were heavily favored. They had basically a good team, and well, personally, they did. The game was back and forth, and they ended up, and once again, they took on her former quarterback, V. Tyler, and Tyler and Suga, it turned out to be a big one. And well, basically, the team's offense basically had a nice perfect kind of like big matchup. I personally thought that, well, that Super Bowl would turn out pretty good. But this is basically Super Bowls, I'm gonna mind you. Those first few that went ahead and did the commentating in Super Bowl 1, they weren't there anymore, so they were replaced by this crew.
So, is he performing national anthem at halftime? Yeah, fuck his singing. Okay, Flores.
Wait,
And plus, well,
with touchdown after that interception. Let's see what the Seahawks can do now. Will they score a touchdown, or will they bend over and accept their Lord Almighty Pred?
Pred.
And Pred was look to go ahead and get that one, but then the Lord Pred didn't have that meme, and then that went from that to this one. I think they were the same Comcasting thing, but it was a little bit different.
Holding hands, running it.
Oh, loses a little bit of space. One is if they fix that time management issue that the Raiders could pull off, or get an interception. They can't get it off of fumbles anymore. The Raiders have already fumbled, so we're definitely going to have to see them get some sort of stop. And rolls out. Both of them roll out. One single DE, one single quarterback. We've seen this many times before. Still gets the tight end pass. Don't know why anybody's dropping there on defense. Should be a man coverage game at that point. He was wide open. We're going to see Death hug the ball right here, running that clock, milking it as much as he can. He's up. And there's only a minute and some change left in this game. Seahawks are in a dire position right now with a 1st and 10. He has 4 downs to get this right. No timeouts called. I think he's waiting for that first-minute warning, or last-minute warning, I should say. 2 DEs ready to get the pressure. Tosses it up. He's not an IQ player right there. Perfect pass.
Fumble.
It's another fumble.
Picked up by Gus. He's running down the sideline.
It doesn't count. The fumble doesn't count. The Raiders have already fumbled
before.
That's fucking gay.
Seahawks do not get the ball back. Reese, I'm pretty sure it's second.
Note that in that Super Bowl commentating, that actually turned out that Big Bad Man actually was hearing that one. So, and since he also went ahead and commentated Super Bowl 9, lucky you.
2nd and 10, or 3rd and 10, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 10. We're gonna see these guys try to get. Nice.
A field goal here.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if they had a range for it.
It's 4th and down pass. It's really deep in the end zone. Been stopped a couple times. Gentlemen, we have a ball. A lot of options right here. Close to the end zone. You don't want a touchback. You want something that's maybe around the 10-yard, 5-yard line. So, I mean, the Raiders have a lot of options right here. Definitely in the advantage.
And it's picked up by Gus!
Picked off right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a ball game. Seahawks are only down 4 points. They've been stopped a couple times at the beginning of the game, but they caught their groove coming into the second half. Retro.
So we saw that part. But then again, there was also the next Super Bowl. And even though in that last Super Bowl, that turned out to be really interesting. And with that, well, now I went ahead and put a little bit of a sunset on here. As, once again, in a tough battle with the Panthers, in the end, one team had to win. And it turned out that it'll fall in favor with her team. And the final score of that game, honestly, the final score was 46-32. A great ice-up game, and well, Mallory was able to go ahead and wasn't able to stick around the full game, but she was around enough to go ahead and claim a ring. Either way, the rest of the season, or the rest of her career, went ahead and, well, it pretty much became the rest of the thing. Well, in Season 6, I went ahead and I looked, and Mal would have had to gone ahead at least been in the stat sheet. And, well, to my luck, the answer was I got treated to, well, these next 2 seasons, it was very difficult to find her where she was at. If I was going to go ahead and figure out where she was at, she would have had to average at least 200, around 200 receiving yards. Took that area. Honestly, I didn't really get anywhere. So, season 7, she wasn't really in the stat sheet. Season 6, she wasn't in the stat sheet either. But, like, I couldn't really find her though. But honestly, like, on pretty much as a wide receiver, on the wide receiver side. But honestly, and to be fair, I did go ahead and check defensive. I couldn't really find her in the defensive back stats. But once again, she took a big leap as she was officially pretty much came back in the stat sheet for pretty much season 8, and she went ahead and had what is her best year, with being the wide receiver 1 on a Titans team that struggled with quarterback issues. Like, honestly, their QB issues were just struggling. Like, they had Ventrix QB a few games. Calvin went ahead and was forced to QB a few games. Excellent for the original starter. He had only QB'd a few games. And, well, despite that controversy, she went ahead and had a career year, posting career highs in reception in receiving. And as defensive back, she went ahead and nabbed 6 interceptions. Now, when you think that the story gets interesting here, it gets more interesting after this. After her first Pro Bowl season, she goes back and dominates once again. And well, there wasn't really much. I tried finding her on the stat sheet. That turned out to be very, very... I mean, I'm talking very... Like, somehow, in some way, shit was difficult. Like, literally, shit was very difficult. And, well, I can tell you this, though. Even though I couldn't really make some possible things, my estimation said she had basically a 15-catch, 250 yards, and she did, in my guess, that she scored 3 touchdowns and had 3 interceptions. Well, that season ended up landing her second Pro Bowl. Where is she now? Well, I can tell you the part of where is she now. Well, she's basically still around. It's just you can really just go ahead and officially say it. Either way, thank y'all for watching. I'll see you on the next time. Side up, side out.